Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been told in plain cold words that as long as you back entities who are inimical to India, those who are pushing drugs, who are into human trafficking, and more importantly, secessionist activities against India on your soil, they need to be addressed and they should not get the kind of freedom and leeway that they are currently getting. Canada needs to cooperate. Two vibrant democracies, if they need to have a shared future, then they need to protect each other's interests and respect each other's sovereignty. Justin Trudeau, on the face of it, tried to reason it out and somewhere coming out to even point and allude to Indian interference in Canada's or Canadian internal affairs. But when pressed again, Justin Trudeau clearly on the back foot. If you look at this picture, you can see that the equations are a little cold. The handshake is not as warm as PM Modi's handshake has been with all the other leaders, because Justin Trudeau found himself singled out, isolated quite literally. Look at all the multilateral fora pictures and Trudeau's not there. Now, whether it is supposed to be his team and his failing foreign policy, or the fact that India has very clearly indicated that Canada is not somebody who's currently welcome, or the equations are very, very frosty between the two nations, stands out. But ironically, he had a technical snag and he couldn't fly out as scheduled. So he was in New Delhi when this happens in Surrey, where the entire referendum attempt is shown again. There was a huge furor ahead of the G20 when there were people who raised questions about a school that was getting special aid for extracurricular activities from the Trudeau government had actually given it space to conduct this entire referendum meeting, and questions were asked that is this the extracurricular activity just that Prime Minister Trudeau was alluding to. Then the school denied permission after furor, after attention was drawn towards it. But this did happen in Surrey. The claim is that there are more than 135,000 votes. Who are these people who are voting and why are they being allowed to vote? And the question to Justin Trudeau is, a freedom of speech should be respected, but should not the sovereignty of another nation be respected? He said the actions of a few cannot be broad brushed for the actions of the whole community or all of Canada. But what are you doing to counter those who are drug traffickers, those who are gangsters, those who are human traffickers, those who are sitting there and using Canadian soil for nefarious operations in India? These are questions that India has raised and asked Justin Trudeau to address. But he has a political compulsion, which Subramaniam Jaishankar has spoken of in the past. But this time around, none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi telling Justin Trudeau in plain, cold, straight words, act on this. Otherwise, our equations are going nowhere from here on. The trade agreement between the two nations also currently is in the refrigerator. And not much is going to happen on that front, although it was Canada which wanted to put a stop to it. But India too, not very keen to progress till the time there is action on this front. Whether or not Justin Trudeau changes his tone, changes his act, changes his words, or it's the political compulsions back home that continue to try and influence his decisions and his position, we'll have to wait and watch. Last time around, when he was aiming for a term, he had called for Chinese interference. This time around, he has raised the bogey of Indian interference. Is that going to yield him political capital there? We'll have to wait and watch. But clearly, equations with India as a nation and as a partner, that is going to get frosty and strained if Trudeau continues to toe this line.